It is a dangerous thing to fight a child of God, and still many people walk around with happy faces while hiding bad plans in their hearts. Some of the people who walk against you sit close to you every day, acting like they are happy for you, yet they are secretly putting sand under trees, near rivers, and at crossroads, saying your name into it to hold your life down. It is no longer the time to cry or keep asking why you keep losing jobs, why your relationships keep ending, or why you have strange sicknesses that no doctor can understand. This is not just bad luck. It is a spiritual fight. There are people who do not want to see you do well, and they have taken your name to witches, to shrines, to sand altars, and to evil meetings. But you do not have to keep suffering in silence. For too long you have put up with pain, shame, poverty, betrayal, and delay while acting strong. But deep inside, you feel buried in your spirit. They buried your name in the sand, hoping you would never get up again. But now it is your time to send it all back to the one who sent it. If they use sand to hold you down, you will use sand to break free and send every curse back to where it started. This is not about getting back at someone. This is spiritual justice. And if you do it the right way for only 3 days, everything they send to you will go back to them much stronger. And the people who walk against you will either tell the truth, be shown for who they are, or be destroyed by the very altars they built to hurt you. This is the truth. Your enemies are afraid you will find out. Because once you know it, they know their plans are over. Have you ever asked yourself why some fights never finish, no matter how much you pray? Is it possible that someone buried you in the spiritual world and your soul has been crying to be free without you knowing? Now you are about to learn about a spiritual tool that has been right in front of you. The sand under your feet turned into a weapon for your freedom, for your success, and for justice. This is your time to get up from the dust and shake off every curse, because once you understand this, you will never be a victim again. Let me show you what to do with sand that will make your enemies tell the truth and be defeated. There is a secret about sand that many believers have overlooked, yet in the spiritual world, it is one of the strongest things used for both safety and for breaking things. Witches, sorcerers, and spiritual workers know that sand holds the mark of a person, his footprint, his presence, and his movement. Because man was made from the dust of the earth, they use sand to tie up destinies, to slow down progress, and to bury the voices of the people they hurt in the spirit. Every time someone takes sand from where you walked, from your home, or from your clothes, and buries it while saying your name, they are not just doing a ceremony, they are making a spiritual prison, using the earth itself to trap your future. What they do not want you to know is that this same sand can be used to turn the evil around. Just as it carries spiritual marks, it can also carry words of freedom, of release, and of justice when someone with God's authority speaks to it. The reason why Jesus once wrote on the ground and why prophets knelt down to pray on the earth, it was not only a picture, it was spiritual power connected to the parts of creation. Sand answers to a voice, to breath, and to purpose. When you pick up sand and talk to it with faith, you are starting a 8 year. The system of God's judgment that is already built into the earth. What witches do in the dark, you can break in the light. What they buried can be dug up. What they close can be broken open. You must understand that the sand they use to hold you is not stronger than the power inside you to tell it, to let you go. This is why many people start feeling dizzy, sick, or mixed up when they step on sand that has been cursed or used for rituals without knowing. The energy of bondage stays in the soil until someone stands up with authority to break it. That is why this practice is not for show. It is about taking control. You are not begging the sand to walk. You are telling it to line up with God's justice and to refuse every evil word spoken over it. If you have been dreaming of walking through dust, being buried, losing your shoes in muddy places, or being pulled under the ground, these are signs that your future has been caught in the world of sand, and yet you can take it back. The moment you gather a little bit of clean sand with the plan to break free, you have already started a spiritual fight. Because every little bit of sand on earth can become a witness, a record, or a man's weapon based on how it is used. And when you start it with God's command, you set in motion a wave of judgment that no altar, shrine, or spell can stop. Many people are trapped because they never speak to creation. They fast and pray, but they never use the physical things that were used to trap them. And yet creation is waiting for you to command it. When you speak to sand, you are not speaking to death. You are speaking to the first pieces of life, and it will listen. That is why you must take this teaching seriously. If your enemies had the courage to bury your name and curse, or for your family using soil, then you must have the courage to dig it out and send it back. Because when sand hears the voice of God through your voice, it will rise up against the wicked and swallow their plans. It will turn their attacks around and become a flood of shame against them. And the same evil way they buried your name is the same way they will be buried by their own evil. When you stand to speak over sand with knowledge and God's support, your voice becomes judgment. Your words become fire. And your enemies will start to confess without knowing why. That is how powerful this is. But you must learn how to do it for 3 days. Not without a plan, not in fear, but with courage and God's exact direction. Because when you use sand under God's command, even hell will shake. The practice must start on the day your spirit is most stirred up. When you feel you have had enough. When you are ready to break out of every chain that has been holding you down. On the first day, wake up early before the sun comes up. Wash your face and hands with clean water, while saying that you are cleaning yourself from every connection to evil agreements. Go outside with no shoes on if you can. Touch the earth and take a handful of clean, dry sand and put it in a small bowl or container. Hold it in your hand and start to speak to it. You must say, every curse buried in the ground with my name, every evil altar raised against me using sand, today I reverse your assignment. As I return this sand to the earth, let every evil go back to the sender. Speak with courage. Name the things you have suffered. Poverty, betrayal, delay, sickness, and command every buried word to break by fire. Then walk to a tree, a river bank, or a quiet place outside and pour the sand back on the ground while facing the east. Do not look back. Leave it there and walk away without speaking. On the second day, do the same thing, but now say that the sand will start to confuse every watching spirit, every evil watcher, and every familiar spirit tied to your life. Say, as I release this sand, I scatter their meetings, I blind their eyes, and I dry up their altars. Wherever they buried my name, may their hands catch fire. As you speak, shake the sand in your hand a little as a sign of shaking of bondage. You must not do this in fear. That your voice must carry the authority of someone who knows the kingdom of darkness is shaking. Again, go to a different place outside and let the sand go while speaking judgment out loud. On the third day, the practice becomes the strongest. On this day, you will get up early, put oil on your forehead and your feet, and speak over the sand one last time. But this time, call for God's justice. Say, as I return this sand to the ground, let every hidden enemy be seen. Let their secrets come out, and let every spiritual coffin they made for me become their own. I bury their wickedness under this earth and seal it with fire. This is the day when many people start to see things happen. Sudden dreams of snakes dying, old friends telling the truth, or people getting sick and asking for mercy. After letting the last bit of sand go back home quietly and put oil on your doorway. Do not gossip or talk too much that day. Stay in a place. All of worship and quiet. This practice is not witchcraft. It is a spiritual turning around of evil plans using one of God's first creations. The earth was not made for you to be buried in the spirit, but to carry your blessing. When you finish the 3 days, thank God for showing your enemies, for lifting your name from the dust, and for turning the enemy's weapon back to their own camp. Do not go looking for results. They will come by themselves. Just as the enemy send trouble to you quietly, their defeat will come loudly. Some will call you crying. Others will dream of you chasing them. And some will even start to avoid you because they now fear what you carry. This is how the sand works. Quietly, powerfully, and directly. You have taken what was meant for your destruction and used it for your freedom. This practice will change your spiritual weather forever. And once you have done it with understanding and faith, you will never go back to who you were. You will walk with courage, knowing that every bit of sand under your feet now carries your authority. You will walk with confidence, knowing that God gave you power over creation and that your enemies can no longer hide in the dark while bearing your future. Because now you know how to send it all back to the sender. After finishing the sand practice for 3 days, things begin to change in the spiritual world with force and clarity. You may start to have dreams where the people who have been behind your problems suddenly look confused, are shown for who they are, or are asking for mercy. Some people say they see snakes cut into pieces, witches telling the truth in public, or strange birds falling dead outside their houses. These are not just accidents. They are signs that the sand has started its proper job of judgment. The most surprising part is when someone who seemed nice suddenly stays away from you, starts to act scared, or even says things they never meant to say. Their tongues become loose and their secrets start to chase them. Some people have told how enemies who once stood strong against them began to get sick in a strange way, lose their own protection, or be troubled by the very spirits they sent. Because when you send back what they buried, the spirits that were sent to trouble you turn around and start troubling the sender. You might start getting unexpected apologies, strange messages, or direct fights, as those who once walked in the shadows can no longer hide. Their cover has been taken off and they know it. Some will cry in your dreams asking you to forgive them. Others may try to pay you or confuse you to stop what you have done. But do not be afraid. Once the practice has been done in a right way and with God's authority, you have started a judgment that cannot be undone by evil hands. This is where you must stay prayerful, quiet, and watchful. During this time, your spiritual senses will get stronger. You will start hearing clearly, understanding faster, and noticing the feeling around certain people changing. Light has come in and darkness cannot stand against it. Those who once controlled you in the spirit now shake when you are near. The same sand they used to trap your life has now turned against them, carrying your voice and God's justice wherever it lands. Sometimes within 3 days of finishing, the person behind your troubles may be shamed in public, arrested, get sick, or even die if they refuse to change. This is not because you wanted it, but because God's court has decided. What many do not realize is that the earth itself answers to what is wrong. When someone uses creation to destroy a child of God, that same creation rises to protect the innocent. That is why after this practice, stories of success start to come in. People say job offers suddenly appear. Long court cases are won. Peace in marriage comes back, and strange burdens lift from their lives. Things you tried for years to do suddenly start to move. Your money gets better. Your health comes back. Your joy returns. It is not magic. It is God putting things back in order. You called back what was stolen. You dug up what was buried. You reversed what was cursed. And the results show it is true. The fear of God will fall on those who thought they could ruin your life in silence. Now they see you have found spiritual knowledge that shows hidden things and stops wickedness. And from now on, the spiritual world knows your voice. The sand remembers you. The earth will now work for you. And your enemies will never forget the day they tried to bury you and ended up digging their own graves. Now that you have seen what sand can do in the spiritual world, it is time to look inside and ask yourself a serious question. How long have you put up with what God never called you to accept? How many years have you suffered quietly while your enemies celebrated over your buried future? How many times have you fasted and prayed without knowing that a simple thing like sand could hold the key to your freedom? This is your awakening. This is the moment your eyes must open not only to who your enemies are, but to who you are in the spirit. You are not weak. You are not helpless. You are not a victim. You are a spiritual fighter with God's authority over creation. And the fact that you now know how to use sand for fighting is a sign that your training is done. You have been awakened for a reason. Your delay, your loss, your shame, your cycles of almost but never, none of it was by chance. It was an evil plan meant to bury you alive. But God allowed it so that when you rise with fire, you rise with understanding, you rise with scars that now carry wisdom, and you rise with authority that no one can take from you again. You now understand that spiritual fights need spiritual weapons. And sometimes the strongest weapon is not the loudest prayer, but the most exact action. Speaking to sand may seem odd to the natural mind, but in the spirit world, it is a statement of control. A saying that you refuse to let the enemy use what God created for your blessing. This is why you must never go back to the days when you begged people to love you. When you explained yourself to people who were secretly trying to ruin you, or when you put up with delay, thinking it was just bad luck. Now you know better. Now you understand that some delays are spiritual traps buried where you can see them. And now that you have broken those traps, it is time to walk in a new way. It is time to stop hiding your power. Stop quieting your gifts. Stop saying sorry for your anointing, and stop making yourself small to fit in places you were called to lead. This sand practice has woken up something old inside of you. Something that was buried but never dead. And now that it is alive again, your enemies will never sleep. I well again. Because when a child of God wakes up with knowledge, hell starts to panic. You have now become a spiritual threat. You have become a voice of judgment to wicked altars. You have become the fulfillment of God's promise that those who dig a hole will fall into it themselves. And you must never forget this. Change. Guard it. Take care of it. Make it grow and teach others what you have learned. Because this level of awakening is not only for you, it is for your family. Your freedom is their future. Your courage is their protection. And your voice is now a trumpet in the spirit. Walk. Speak with it. Speak with it, declare with it, and never go back to not knowing about the spirit again. Now, I want you to stand and speak this with fire in your voice. Not as someone who hopes to be free, but as someone who knows freedom has already been spoken. Say this: I stand upon the earth as one who carries God's authority. I speak to every grain of sand that was used to curse me, bury my name, delay my life, or destroy my future. Hear the voice of the Lord through me and refuse every evil word spoken against me. I command you, O sand, to become a weapon of judgment against every wicked altar raised in my name. Let those who buried my name in darkness be shown by the light. Let every witch, every warlock, every sorcerer who touched sand to hurt me fall into their own pit. I start spiritual reversal. I speak back to the sender. Let their curses go back much stronger. Let their rituals fail. Let their watching spirits go blind. Let their wicked hands become weak. Let their tongues that spoke evil be made quiet. Let their meetings be scattered by fire. I call upon the sand to carry my cry, to carry my command, and to carry my justice. Now pause and feel that authority rising. This is not normal talk. This is your spirit waking up for battle. Say this next: I take back my name from every grave. I dig up my star. I take back my voice, my health, my wealth, my destiny. As I hold this sand, I hold a sign of control. As I let this sand go, I release judgment. No weapon made against me will succeed. No spell or magic will stay on my life. I say that from today, the earth will be good to me. The ground will give blessings to me. And my footsteps will lead to plenty. And no one will ever bury me again, in the spirit or in the body, before my time. Now say with courage, I cancel every evil plan written in the dust. I wipe away every agreement sealed with soil. I break every burial practice done with my clothes, my hair, my name, or my picture. I call fire down on every evil that came from sand. I say a heavenly turning over of every demonic judgment. Let confusion go into the camp of my enemies. Let their plans turn into dust. Let the same sand they used against me carry their own ruin. And let every mouth that laughed at me be shut for good. This is your final move, your mark of spiritual battle. Speak it and believe it. From this day I walk with power. From this day I speak and the earth answers. From this day my enemies will run when they hear my name. And from this day I say, anyone who touches me or my family will pay with their own blood. It is written and it is done. Back to the sender. In the name of the Most High God, stay quiet for a moment after saying these words. Let your spirit receive what your mouth has just sent out. This is not a game. This is a spiritual weapon. And now that it has been started, the war has turned to help you. Let the Son speak. Now that you have finished this path of learning, fighting, and restoration, do not keep this knowledge for yourself. Too many people are hurting in silence, suffering attacks they cannot understand, and losing fights they do not even know have spiritual causes. You have been given this wisdom not only to guard yourself, but to help others become free. There is someone out there right now whose name is buried under sand, whose future has been caught under the weight of a curse, and they are calling for help without even knowing what is wrong. You can be the one to share this light. You can be the one to open the door for their freedom. Do not wait. Share these words with your family, your friends, your prayer group, and even those who used to make fun of your spirituality. Let them see that the same sand they walk on carries power when it is woken up by God's command. Let them hear the truth. And when you do, tell them not to play with this teaching. Tell them to get ready in the spirit, to follow the steps with care, and to trust God completely as they act. This is not a superstition. It is not a fashion. It is God's knowledge that has set thousands free over many years. If you are hearing this and you feel fire in your bones, that is not by chance. God is stirring your spirit because you have been picked as a protector for your family. You are the one that breaks the patterns. You are the one who does not die poor, quiet, or hidden. You are the one who turns back every arrow sent by jealous family, false friends, old lovers, evil co-workers, and local witches. And you must be ready. So do not just listen again. Let the message go deep into your bones. Let the teaching enter your spirit. And once you have done the practice, tell what happened. Leave your story so others can be given hope. Tell us what dreams you had, what good things came, what truths you heard. We are making a group of fighters, not victims. We are raising voices that break evil agreements. And every story makes another person stronger as they rise up to fight. Do not forget to follow Joshua Selman Wisdom if you have not yet. Here we do not make truth sweet. Here we show darkness. Here we pray, we learn, we fight, and we win. If this word spoke to you, show it so the system knows this message is important. Leave a comment to say your freedom, your fire, and your fight. And most important, share this with speed. The same way witches move in quiet, we must now move with understanding. Let this message go to all the earth. Let the hot people hear and rise. Let the quiet ones find their voice. Let the buried ones stand up. And let every altar built in the ground be broken by the voice of knowledge. This is Joshua Selman. Wisdom, where truth meets healing, and wisdom wakes up restoration. This is the moment you stop being a target and start becoming a threat to every dark altar. The knowledge you now carry is a weapon they cannot disarm. Your voice, once silenced by their rituals, now carries the decree of heaven. Your footsteps, once tracked for their evil purposes, now mark a path of divine reclamation. The same earth that held you down is now rising to defend you. Do not underestimate the shift that has taken place. You have been initiated into a realm of spiritual authority where your words shape reality and your commands activate creation itself. You might feel a new strength growing inside you. That is not your imagination. It is the awakening of the dominion God placed within you from the beginning. The feeling of heaviness lifting, that is the sun releasing your name from its prison. The sudden clarity in your mind, that is the confusion they sent being scattered back to its source. The energy returning to your body, that is the life they tried to bury now resurrecting. These are not small signs. They are confirmations that the spiritual world is responding to your family. Commands Now, let me show you how to maintain this victory and ensure no one can ever bury you again. The battle does not end with the 3-day ritual. That was your declaration of war. What follows is your establishment as a permanent force in the spirit realm. You must understand that your enemies will try to counter-attack. They will send new attacks, try new methods, and attempt to make you doubt what you have accomplished. This is why you must stand firm in your new authority. Every morning from now on, step outside and place your bare feet on the ground. Feel the connection between your spirit and the earth. Speak to the soil beneath you and declare, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. No ritual performed in secret shall stand. Every curse returns to its sender. Every altar raised against me falls by fire. This daily practice creates a spiritual barrier around you that repels darkness automatically. The earth becomes your ally, your witness, and your defender. When you walk, understand that your footprints now carry authority. Wherever you step, you are claiming that ground for God's kingdom. You are sanctifying the earth beneath your feet. Those who once collected your footprints to use against you will now find that same soil testifying against them. Your footsteps now carry blessing rather than vulnerability. The ground you walk on becomes holy ground that rejects wicked assignments. If you ever feel that familiar spirit of oppression trying to return, do not panic. Go immediately to any patch of earth, pick up a handful of soil, and speak directly to it. I break every renewed assignment. I cancel every fresh curse. I send back every new attack. Then throw that soil toward the east, symbolizing the complete removal of whatever darkness was coming against you. This simple act maintains your victory and keeps the enemy on the defensive. Remember that your voice has now been registered in the spiritual realm as a voice of authority. The same way kings have authority in their kingdoms, you now carry authority over the elements that were used against you. Sand, soil, dust. These elements now recognize your voice and respond to your commands. Do not speak carelessly. Your words carry power. Your declarations shape realities. Your decrees establish heavenly order. Some of you will begin to notice physical changes in your environment as a result of this awakening. Plants may flourish near your home. Animals may behave differently around you. The atmosphere in your space may feel lighter. These are natural responses to your spiritual transformation. Creation recognizes when a child of God steps into their authority and responds accordingly. The earth is eager to cooperate with those who walk in divine purpose. Your dreams will change. Where you once dreamed of being buried, you will now dream of flying. Where you saw yourself trapped, you will see yourself leading armies. Where you witness dark ceremonies, you will now see altars crumbling and fires burning against your enemies. Pay attention to these dreams. They are confirmations of your new spiritual position. They are evidence that the burial is over and the resurrection has begun. Do not be surprised when people who once harmed you suddenly want to be near you. They will feel the shift in your spirit and unconsciously seek the light you now carry. Be wise. Not everyone deserves access to your new anointing. Some will try to drain your energy or study your methods to develop counterattacks. Guard all your space. Protect your energy. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Your discernment has increased. Use it. The well that was blocked will begin to flow. The opportunities that were hidden will start to appear. The relationships that were broken will be restored or replaced with better ones. This is not magic. It is the natural consequence of removing spiritual blockages. When the curses are broken, blessings flow naturally. When the burial ends, resurrection begins. When the silence is broken, testimony emerges. Teach this to your children. Show them how to walk in authority. Explain to them that the ground beneath their feet is their friend, not their enemy. Teach them to speak to creation with respect and authority. This knowledge must become your family's inheritance. The generational curses end with you, but the generational blessings begin with you. Your children will never have to suffer what you suffered if you equip them properly. If you live in a city where you cannot easily access soil, understand that the principle remains the same. A potted plant contains earth. A park has ground you can use. Even the dust that accumulates in your home can become a point of contact for your declarations. Wherever there is earth, there is opportunity for spiritual authority. God has made the entire world from materials that respond to his voice, and yours, some will criticize this teaching, they will call it superstitious or unscriptural. Let them talk. While they debate theology, you are winning battles. While they argue about methods, you are experiencing freedom. The proof is in the results. The evidence is in your transformation. Those who have been truly oppressed understand that spiritual warfare requires spiritual weapons. Those who have never faced demonic attacks have no right to judge your methods of deliverance. Now, I want you to make one final declaration. Stand up wherever you are and speak these words with conviction. From this day forward, I am undiggable, I am unbearable, I am unstoppable. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No curse spoken against me shall stand. No